Welcome back to the railroad, everyone. Soon we're going to be traveling back to Chicago on the Empire Builder. And with that in mind, I hope to hit the Chicago's Botanical Gardens again and see their railroad. Well, I hope you enjoyed what we had last week for the Botanical Gardens Part 1 from last year's Chicago visit. Here's Part 2. Well, welcome back to the railroad, everyone. Great to see you all again. Today we're going to finish up the Chicago Botanical Gardens Railroad. So let's get in and see some trains running. And stay tuned to the end because Mount Saint Helens is going to erupt. Come on along.
Well, if you have not seen last week's video, you should go back and see Chicago Botanical Garden Railroad. In that video, you're going to see a lot of the vignettes of places all around the United States. Let's do a quick review of some of the places we did visit in our last video. With our first stop here in Keystone, South Dakota, it took 14 years for 400 workers to carve the heads out of solid granite rock in the real article, although it took a lot less time for them to do it here. And of course, in Chicago, you're going to find Wrigley Field. And where did that Amtrak train come from? And of course, there were a number of Frank Lloyd Wright homes from all across America that were modeled here. Then of course, who could forget Mark Twain's boyhood home? And who could forget Cape Cod? And of course, a circus is always a fun thing to see, especially when it's brought here by the trains.
Napa Valley trains. I've got a tank car from the Napa Valley train collection.
And of course, we have Grauman's Chinese Theater in California. And then we have Hollywood. And who could ever forget the French Quarter in New Orleans? Fictional or not, we have the island of Sodor with James the Red Engine, Percy the Green Engine, Thomas the tank engine, and Toby the tram engine. And of course, in all its majesty, we have the White House, home of the president. Then we move on to the place where in August of 1963, Martin Luther King spoke those immortal words, "I have a dream." Of course, we're talking about the Lincoln Memorial. So there's a recap of what we saw last week. Now they did have one other thing that I'd like to show you all here. This is a scale comparison between the different scales. So we start off at the top with our G scales, which is what this show is all about. Then we move down to the 027, or O scale is what it's commonly called. From there we move on to S scale. From there we move down to HO scale. And then N scale and Z scale are on the same level. And finally they have what they call Brio scale. And this will give you a little idea of the different scales and sizes of various model railroads. Now let's move on to the models that they've done for Washington State. Amtrak, always on time. Well, most of the time. As the train goes by Pike Place Market, we see all the signage that they've put out for us to find out what things are and where they are in the country. So let's just take a few moments and stroll through some of Washington's better known places while we wait for St. Helens to blow. So who is that standing behind the Space Needle sign? That's the Hammering Man. I feel the ground rumbling. I think it's time. Everybody hold on. Here we go. Okay, maybe it was only that Amtrak train.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed the Chicago Botanical Gardens Railroad. It's a great place to see, and it's one of the fun things we did on our train trip. Marie and I went back to Chicago on the Empire Builder. So be safe, stay healthy. We'll see you down the rails, and God bless.